It is spooky season, ladies and gentlemen. Ah! Unless you're watching this literally any other time of the year, in which case the ghouls and goblins that live under your bed have retreated back to their caves. But if it is spooky season, don't put your toes over the bed. You see, usually I do this weird thing where I play games that I enjoy. It helps distract me from the terrors going on not only outside, but also inside my head at all times. But as my friend LeBron James once said, it's never good to be inside your comfort zone for too long. You have to push yourself.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite saying. That's my favorite saying.
And so that's what I'm going to do today. In honor of Halloween, I will be going to Steam, looking through every single MMO and playing the worst reviewed MMORPGs on Steam. I'm not joking when I say I went through the entire list of MMOs on Steam, looked at all their reviews, and then picked 3 of the absolute worst of the worst, just to see if the reviews were dramatic. And they weren't, they really weren't. Some of these are really bad. So grab that ghoul that's living under your bed, and no, I'm not talking about your wife. Sit back, relax, and watch me slowly lose my sanity and my hair. Whoa, what's that? My background isn't spooky anymore. That's because of today's sponsor, Southern New Hampshire University. SNHU is an online university with a huge selection of accredited degree programs, but the one that interests me the most is the game dev program, to the surprise of no one. I played some pretty bad MMORPGs to make this video, and the last thing I want is to see more terrible games enter the world.
And with SNHU's game dev program, you'll leave with all the tools you'll need to hopefully make better games than what's coming out today.
At SNHU, you'll learn everything from game programming with C#, C++, Java. You'll also learn things like 3D modeling and texture, and using state-of-the-art things like AI to make interesting NPCs. And all of this is taught by people who have first-hand experience with game development, so you're getting some pretty useful knowledge that's hard to get anywhere else. And on top of this, SNHU is radically affordable. It's one of the lowest tuition rates for any online school in the country. If any of this sounds good to you, I highly recommend going to snhu.edu/idle or clicking the link in the description. And there you can learn more, like the average salary for a programmer, because in the game dev program, you're gonna get a great basis of fundamentals, not only for game dev, but for programming and modeling. So again, click the link in the description to learn more, and thank you to SNHU for sponsoring this video. You guys are very cool, and if you went to SNHU, you're very cool too. I also wanna give a shout out to my Patreon supporters. They're very cool, and if you would like to support, you can do so for as low as $3 a month at the link in the description. More on them later. For those of you who noticed that I'm not using my usual microphone, that's because the spookiest thing of all happened. It broke. Sorry. Have you ever wanted to play a mobile MMO on your PC? No? Why not? Are you stupid? Well, regardless, there are hundreds of mobile MMOs out there, and most of them are really bad. But the main reason they're bad is because they're on your phone, and I don't want to play MMOs on my phone. That's where I do normal things, like scrolling through TikTok for 4 hours. Why would I want to play an MMO? But luckily, one game was brave enough to start on mobile and then move to PC, and that game is the state-of-the-art ASU Global. But before we get into ASU Global, let's read some reviews so we can get more of an idea of what it is. This is a poor excuse for a Korean mobile port in a long line of them, with the lack of sound, spelling errors, bad translations, ugly UI, login issues, and so much more. And it has P2E crypto NFT garbage and P2W. I don't know what P2E is, but none of that stuff sounded very good. Wait a second. It says this guy played for 53 hours but had 0.5 at review time. So they wrote this review and then played like 53 more hours of the game? Perfect game if you've recently suffered severe brain damage and are able to click only one mouse key. Well, I mean, oof. But hey, I don't want to read only biased negative reviews, so let's make sure to read a positive review. This player not only has 38 plus hours in the game, but also at the time of the review was apparently the rank 1 player on the global server, so they must really like the game. Pros, it's a huge time waster. Okay. Kill shiny things, get shiny things. It's a pretty good game design, I would say. But what are the cons? Game fucking blows. So, listen, all those reviews were pretty bad, but the game can't actually be that bad, can it? After the game was finished downloading and installing, I launched it and it had to do some more downloading and installing, which was fine because it gave me this awesome lore-filled cutscene with no voice acting, I guess. But don't worry, I'll do the voice acting myself. Anita does her best, gives birth to guardians to protect the stars, and disappears. We are collecting the necessary equipment for the adventure. Oh, wait, nope, sorry, that's not part of the voice lines. One day, someone unlocks Exile's seal, and eventually, the demons summon him. But there are ASU who can stop them. Why is this happening? Why is there water droplets now? Oh my god, the game's like not even close to being done downloading. What happens when the cutscene ends? Who is this? Is this a YouTube video? I mean, she's talented. I'll give her that, but I guess I'm just a little confused. So I sat there and watched this lady sing her 3-minute song until eventually the song ended and the game was only 1/3 downloaded. So I had to watch the whole cutscene and listen to the whole song again 2 more times. But eventually, I was greeted with a beautiful sight for my weary eyes, a login screen. For some reason, you can't log in with Steam, so you're taken to an external login site and... Oh my god. This is the login page? This is how you log in? And I can only use my Google account or my Facebook account? So I made a fake email and used that to sign up so they wouldn't get my data because this doesn't exactly look, you know, legit. I feel like it's worth pointing out that the fake email I made has received nonstop spam Google Drive documents, and the only thing I used that email for was this game, so yeah, I'm pretty sure this game sold that email off to a bunch of, like, scammers, which is cool. Finally, after all that, it's time to play the game. And what better way for a game to start than with character creation? ASU has classes like so many other MMOs, and as you can see, we have our typical ranger class, our typical warrior class, our typical child class, our typical caster... Wait, hold on, wait. What was that last one? Each class has its own unique set of skills, which do... I'm not entirely sure. It looks like this, but it doesn't tell you what it does. But this is good, because rule number 1 of storytelling is show, don't tell. And there's no better place to tell a story than in character creation. So after creating my big buff warrior dude who cannot be a woman, so don't even bother trying, I was launched into the game, and the first thing I noticed is the UI, which is, in a word, what the hell? Wait, hold on, that was 3 words. There's so much going on, and none of it makes sense. It just feels like they wanted to add a bunch of icons just to have more icons. It's scary and I don't like it. But enough complaining, it's time to play the game. And we're gonna start off with a quest, and check it out, there's actually voice acting now. It's not in English, but I'm sure it's great in its native language. After moving around a bit in the game, I can honestly say the controls feel awful. It's your standard WASD movement, but your character has a weird amount of momentum where even well after I let go of the movement key, my character just keeps moving. It feels like I'm playing a game where my character is constantly on ice and it makes me want to die. I feel like whoever made this made a deliberate decision to make this as awful as it possibly could be, and I don't appreciate it, but I do respect it. Finally, it was time to put my combat skills to the test because this quest needs me to kill things. My first skill is an AoE attack. Apparently, it doesn't tell me anywhere, I just kinda had to figure that out. But the range is wild on this thing. I mean, look at what I'm pulling. It just doesn't make any sense, but it feels cool, I guess. Oh, wow, that's a long cooldown. And my character doesn't seem to be auto-attacking, so I guess I just wait for my cooldown to end? Oh wait, no, there is an auto-attack option in the corner, and if I just keep clicking that, my guy keeps walking around and attacking things by himself. That's neat, I guess. I didn't really want to play the game anyway. Wait, hold on. If I click on the quest log, he'll also auto-path to the quest location. So, I think I'm, like, not needed in this game.
My character seems to have things covered. Okay, so maybe the mechanics aren't great, but the story seems cool and a cutscene is happening, so let's see what that's about. Whoa, a big flying dude, cool. He'll probably get really well written and interesting voice lines. If I qualify for you, I will also be your strength.
So basically, ASU is an auto-playing mobile MMO with horrible combat, horrible UI, horrible story, and horrible just about everything else. So I think it's safe to say the reviewers got this one right. Good job, reviewers. And the thing is, there are dozens of mobile ports on Steam from Eastern MMOs that are just like this. ASU's really not that special. And I could have made this video all about those, but it would have been really boring. This one was by far the funniest one, but the other ones are just worse versions of this. So that's why I wanted to go see an MMO that's actually trying to be good and has potential. So let me introduce you all to Stein. Oh yeah, this is the spookiest background yet. My shivers are being timbered as we speak. 2D MMOs are rare. They basically only existed in two forms, which were MapleStory and RuneScape Classic, which turned 3D in 2004? Something like that. And to be honest, there's a lot of challenges to making a 2D MMO as good as its 3D counterpart. There's some hurdles you have to clear to make things like exploration and combat feel as good as they do in 3D games. But it's not impossible, and a developer that really cares can make it work. And Stein World was made by an indie developer, so I don't want to tear this game apart unless it deserves it. So let's read the reviews. I played this game for just about 2 weeks now, and I found the game to be endlessly frustrating. The game is quite boring. Way too much walking from place to place. Quests are boring. Combat is clunky. Progression is extremely slow, and it feels unrewarding. These reviews sound sad. When I first saw this game, I was amazed and hyped. Then I witnessed how many pay-to-win ways there are, and now I'm sad and do not recommend that game. This person played for almost 12 minutes. So that's either really good or really bad. But of course, we have to remain unbiased, so let's read a positive review. Positive. Well, I'm hooked. Logging into Stein World, I don't get any weird cutscenes or YouTube videos of a random woman singing, so that's really too bad. But I do wake up naked in an inn, and I'm instantly given my first quest, which is to get dressed. So, you know, these games really know how to hook you. The graphics are interesting, to say the least. I like the 2D charm of it, but it feels kind of off. Maybe it's because my character looks like that thing from the Goonies, or maybe it's because the movement animation feels so aggressive, but the art itself is decent. Speaking of decent, the music in Stein World isn't bad, but unfortunately, it's probably only about 15 seconds long before it loops. And it loops a lot. And boy, does it get old really fast. But not speaking of decent, the movement feels bad and yucky, and I do not like it. The movement in this game is tile-based, so the least you can move is one tile in any direction. That means it feels kind of similar to how ASU felt, where the movement feels unresponsive and clunky. You can use click to move if you don't want to do WASD, but that comes with its own set of problems that I'll get into just a little bit later. But the movement just isn't good. Game devs, can we talk for a second? Movement is like really important, okay? Like 90% of your game is movement. I don't give a crap about your cool crafting system or your intricate combat if I can't get from place to place and feel good about it, or not even feel good, just not care about the movement, then you have bigger problems. I'm not gonna get to your crafting system if your movement sucks. Oh, but our quests are really good. I don't wanna do your stupid quests. If moving from one place to another makes me wanna commit the ancient art of Sudoku, I'm not going to have a good time in your massive multiplayer online role-playing game. Well, to be fair, you get used to it. No, okay, you know what? A frog can get used to a pot of water, but before they know it, it's boiling and they die. So, is that what you want? Do you want me to die? Is that what you're looking for? All I'm saying is, let's spend a little time tweaking our movement until it's perfect, and then work on the rest of our games, okay? Despite all this, I very bravely powered through Stein World, found some clothes, and continued on with the story. And hey, look, a merchant. I wonder what the very first shop in the game sells me. Is it starter gear? Some healing supplies? Oh, nope. It's the microtransaction shop.
At least now I can explore what's going on and learn that the main hook of the game is that I got way too drunk last night and lost my Stein, which is apparently very important. According to the innkeeper, a group of bandits has it, and well, to be honest, I completely forgot about my Stein at this point, and I just left the inn. Anyway, want to see something scary? This is the map! If this looks confusing, that's because it is, and it's not very useful. But I didn't really need the map since I just walked around the world clicking on people with exclamation points over their heads. There are hundreds of little quests scattered through the game, and every... Sorry, that was weird. There are a lot of quests, and when you complete... This jingle plays every time you complete a quest, and it's driving me insane. It plays every single time, and there's so many quests. We don't need it that many times. That's it, I'm going into the options. And you know, the options menu is a really pleasant surprise. It's extremely customizable down to every keybind. Every option I want is easy to find, and it's not overwhelming. This is a really great options menu. The more I play this game, the more I feel like it's got a good foundation, but it does so much weird stuff to get in its own way. Like, to pick up and interact with things, you have to walk next to it, face it, and press E, or you can right-click it and walk on top of it to pick it up. That's fine, I guess, but it's really hard to tell what's an object you're meant to use and what's just set decoration. Like, look at these two screenshots. Which of these things am I supposed to pick up? The answer was the left one. How did I find that out? By clicking on everything and praying. Combat is even worse though. To attack something, you need to left click, but left click only triggers your attack. You won't walk towards the target even though this game has pathing. No, you need to walk towards the target, make sure you're facing it, then click, and God forbid it moves before you get your attack off. Oh my god, and with ranged weapons, you have to click where you want your attack to go, so good luck hitting something that's moving. Like, why can't this just be target-based? Why are we making it so much harder than it has to be? Oh, and you know what's extra cool? This staff I got has an 8-second cooldown, so I guess I'll use it once per combat? I'm sorry, I think I need to do some quests to calm down. The quests are fine. 90% of the quests ask you to go talk to an NPC with only a vague description of where that NPC might be. Are they indoors, outdoors, far south, close by to the east? Who knows? So it's time to play Break Into People's House Simulator until I find the random people I'm looking for. Oh, and don't expect the map or quest log to help. If anything, they just make things more confusing. Okay, it's fine. This person wants me to collect some berries. I can do that. That's simple. Okay, I got those berries. Oh, you have another quest for me called Collect More Berries? You just want me to get more berries? Thanks, I'll be sure to do that.
Yep, just as I suspected, my blood pressure is way too high, so let's calm down a little bit. So why does this game make me so mad when ASU was just a little funny old time? I didn't get angry about ASU. That's because this game clearly has the ability to be good. It's made by an indie developer with the right ideas, but just awful execution. This should be a charming, fun to play MMO, but instead it's a clunky, tedious, just And to be honest, of all the MMOs I played, this is the one I'm the most disappointed in, because when I started playing it, it really seemed like it wasn't going to be as bad as the people were saying. But there is one thing Stein World has going for it that the other games just don't, and that's that I actually saw other people playing it. The chat was active basically every single time I logged in, which was through multiple different days at different times of day. I even decided to ask the people in chat what they liked the most about Stein World, and the first person told me to shut the fuck up and then called me a racial slur, but the other people said they liked the community, and one guy said he really liked rocks. So you know, that's cool. People play the game. When I tried to talk to people in ASU, all that showed up was a troll king, and I didn't know what that was. Before we get to our final MMORPG, I want to talk about some honorable mentions that I came across but didn't play for one reason or another. And by the way, if you want to follow up on this video, leave a comment with some terrible MMOs you've seen that you want me to try. No, it's not like JoshStrifeHayes. What are you talking about? I'm playing way more MMOs per video than he does. Anime World Online. The title alone. How could I not want to play this? It's basically a world full of anime girls hacking and slashing. It's the best thing I've ever seen, and only $2. What a bargain. And the reviews are great too. Game would be good for you child to play, not for adult to play. If they seen it needs more sweat drops and anime angry gestures. The game is missing opposite sex. I entered in and found no male NPCs. All they had were goblins. Sounds like they have male NPCs. Am I right, ladies? My dream world. Is this Fortnite? So many positive reviews, but unfortunately, as one reviewer pointed out, this game is what's called an asset flip. That's when you buy some pre-made assets like 3D models or code and then use them in your game without changing anything about it. There's nothing wrong with using pre-made assets in your game, but when you just rip off the demo scene that comes with whatever asset pack you purchase, which you can see is literally the same as what Anime World Online is, then yeah, this is just kind of a very scummy cash grab, and I didn't feel right even giving it $2 of my dollars. But I'm not gonna lie, it was hard to make that decision. I really wanted to play Anime World. Megania? Melania. Megania is another 2D MMO that looked really promising. I mean, the trailers looked cool, and some of the reviews were actually pretty good. I mean, just listen to what loser Aha had to say. All I need to say is 93 hours playtime in 4 days. 93 hours playtime in 4 days. Does that mean he only slept for 3 hours? But unfortunately, the game server was offline every single time I tried to play this game. So good job, Steam. Keep it up, keep it going. Legend of Ares, another game that looked really cool, and it had some like retro graphics and a cool camera style, and the combat looked interesting, but all the reviews were kind of bad. And I found out that's because the server's been offline for 3 years. No, wait, actually 5 years. But it's still on Steam. 5 years. Still on Steam. Good job, Steam. Keep it up. There were plenty of other bad MMOs, but the final one I chose to play, I think, takes the cake in terms of what is this? And that game is Requiem Deciduous Cerberus Mortis. First thing I don't like about this game, the name. How do you pronounce this? Don't leave a comment about it, I don't care. Next thing I don't like about it, why so spooky? I understand that this is supposed to be a spooky video, but this is too spooky. One of the recent news posts talked about something called Murder Hour. We're just gonna let that go without saying anything about it? Anyways, you know the drill, let's read some reviews. This game is one of the strangest MMOs I've ever played, not because it's innovative in any mind-boggling way, but because it almost seems to take active measures in order to annoy you, the player, to a point of insanity. Sounds like my kind of game. Been playing this game since 2008. It had promise in 2008, and over the last 7 years, I have seen the developers take a committed approach to destroying every last bit of promise this game may have had. It's a horrible game. And of course, our unbiased, positive review. You either love it, or you don't. Let's find out which side I fall on, shall we?
First things first, what in the 1996 hit game Duke Nukem 3D are these graphics? I love them. I love them a lot. It's weird that this game originally came out in 2008 and was re-released in the 2020s and still looks like this, sure, but I like it. Anyway, on to character creation. Let's make ourselves a cool little character and... What the hell is this? It's like a crispy baby. Who approved this? So I set off on my adventure as a crispy baby hunter. The opening cutscene was really cool, I bet. I couldn't watch it because it was frozen the whole time, but I did hear it and it sounded cool. Basically, Requiem is a horror-themed post-apocalyptic sci-fi MMO. That theme is pretty exciting, to be honest, because at least it's doing something different than just your regular medieval fantasy. So I'm cautiously optimistic about how this is gonna go. And the first thing I noticed when I get into the game, you're not gonna believe this, the movement sucks. I'm just so tired, guys. Moving with W moves you forward, but not based on the camera position, but based on your character's direction, which gets changed with the A and D keys because those don't strafe, they turn your character. So while movement starts off tied with the camera, it very quickly becomes desynced from it, and that's really uncomfortable. Anyway, let's power through and do some quests, okay? The first man I run into is he flirting with me? Hello, your body looks quite strong. Okay, wait, I have a gift for you. I'll tell you once you accept this gift. Oh, whoa, what the hell? Was his gift punching me in the face? This guy is the embodiment of those where's my hug guys when they get rejected. Anyway, his quest required me to kill some monsters, you know, generic MMO stuff. One of the monsters I had to kill was a young gropey, which is cool because that was my nickname in high school. Oh, I'm gonna scratch that joke. The combat is fine. It's target-based, it has an action bar for abilities, and it's based on the weapon you're using. There's even tab targeting, which is a really nice quality of life thing to have and shows that this game's not all bad. What's really cool is every level up gives you skill points. You can put those skill points into a talent tree to level up your job, which is basically your class, and wait a second. This is just World of Warcraft, isn't it? The combat is super similar, there's a talent tree, the quests are boring. Oh my god, they made worse sci-fi World of Warcraft. Which just makes me think, why did you copy everything except the movement? Oh wait, no, actually this is different than World of Warcraft because the game is super gory. I mean, just look at how these monsters explode when they die. The art team really had a field day with this one. Finishing this first quest led me to a small outpost with a bunch of NPCs, but no one with quests for my levels, so I don't know what to do now. I guess I'll just grind out some young gropies. So I wandered around way too long, completely directionless, until I randomly ran into an NPC who sells quest scrolls. Every single thing this NPC sells is a scroll that gives you a quest. You just read it, and boom, you have quest. There was no indication that this is what the NPC did other than the fact that they're called agent, but I just thought that meant like FBI agent. There was no exclamation point over their head or any other indicator that they were special, so it really is just great design. But at least I have something to do now. And I'm gonna give credit where it's due. The combat does get better the more you level up. I find the talent tree really interesting and the abilities fun to use. I only tried out the blaster and the sword because all the other gear I got required me to be like level 20, and that seems insane. But the combat was fun. But here's the problem. I've shown you the first 30 minutes of me playing the game, and that's kind of all there is. This game is literally the same thing over and over and over again. And I know, MMOs are like that, but at least sometimes they have an interesting story or reward to keep me motivated. But this game, the rewards sucked, the story was non-existent, everything was confusing, and even everything that wasn't confusing was just the same as what I had just done before. And on top of that, the quests are either trivially easy or really, really hard to the point of basically being impossible because the level recommendations just seem wrong to me. There's just no balanced challenge where I could fail, but I know what I did wrong. This game really just feels like someone played World of Warcraft for the first 15 minutes and was like, I could make this, and I could make it in a post-apocalyptic world. And then they did, forgetting that the first 15 minutes of World of Warcraft are really boring. So like you should have copied the other parts of it, if anything. But again, don't just copy World of Warcraft unless you're copying their movement. It's really saying something that of all the games I played, this one left me the most bored. It's clearly the most complete of the games that I played, but what did they complete? Nothing? It's boring. I had nothing to want to do. I had nothing to want, I wanted to do, I didn't want, but hey, if any of you played Requiem back in the day, was it good back then? Because it is not good now. So if I had to recommend any of these games, I wouldn't do that. I would say that if you're looking at MMOs on Steam and any of them are available for purchase, just make sure the servers are online, because if you're gonna spend some money, you should at least get to play a game. Yeah, that's it, I guess.
Wow, you're still watching, huh? Well, why don't you leave a comment that says, idle, I didn't like that thing you said at the end, so everyone thinks I said something really controversial at the end of this video. Did you know that opinions are illegal unless you have Patreon supporters? Luckily, I have Patreon supporters, so I'm fine. I can have opinions. So let's take a moment to thank my Patreon supporters, starting with the members of my tier. Those people are John Sexum, Kuda Bazi, Hooli, Swade Oxford, a hobo with a spork, and Paradox. You people are insane, and I hope everything's like okay.
A huge shout out to my executive milk producers, those people being Omega Pegasi, a fellow MMO YouTuber Arahad, Wait Nevermind, Fantastic Penguin, Loonmaster, Charlie, Kyle Fairburn, Siesta, Samurai Sussy, Mia IRL, Jepperite, K4S Silver, Omega Onion, Josh, Live Facile, Slow, Jamie, and Light. And last but certainly not least, thank you to all of my milk producers. Their names are on the screen right now. They're all wonderful people except for you, Kai. I know about the fact that you think that I don't know what you did, but I do know what you did, and I'm gonna get you. Thank you to all of you so much, and kisses.